This is what you might call a traditional knitted chevron pattern. It's got increases at the peaks, decreases at the troughs, and straight rows in between. Nah, let's make chevrons the easy way. No increases, no decreases, just simple slip stitches. Let's get started on working this beautiful, easy chevron stitch using slip stitches. The colours I'm going to be using today are these lovely ones here. So I've got white, yellow and grey. They are all DK weight yarns. To work the pattern you'll need a multiple of 4 stitches plus 1. So I have cast on 29 stitches here. Just use your favourite cast on. And then I've worked just one plain knit row to give me a little border at the bottom there. I'm now going to change colour straight away. So that was my white. I'm now going to start using my yellow. There are 4 rows worked in each colour, but when we start off, we just start off with a couple of rows in colour A, which is my yellow, just to get a nice border, and then we will start working 4 in each colour. It's a 12 row repeat in total. Having finished with my white for now, but I will be carrying this up the side of the work because there's no point cutting it and rejoining. So what I'm going to do now is quite straightforward. Row 1 is simply knit in yarn A, which is my yellow. So let's just do a knit row. I'll meet you when I'm at the end of this row. So I've got to the end of row 1 in A and turn my work. Row 2 is very straightforward as well. It's simply using yarn A, purl to the end of the row. So again, I'll meet you when I get to the end of this row, and then the fun starts. There's our first 2 rows with A, just plain stocking stitch, and it doesn't look like a chevron yet, but it will do soon. So now we're going to join in yarn B, which is my grey. We will be carrying these yarns up, and I'll show you that as we get to that point. But for now, all we need to do is join in yarn B. So the way I'm doing it is just simply go into the first stitch, pick up my grey and knit that first stitch. I will tighten things slightly, and then we'll worry about carrying up the yarns when we come back to this side of the work shortly. So here is where the magic starts. So we knit 1 stitch with B, and then we're going to slip 3 stitches purlwise, so you're not twisting them, and then we're going to knit the next stitch. Now keep that yarn with enough elastic in it so that it doesn't pull too hard. Knit. That's all we're going to do here. Slip 3, move the stitches along a bit so they're spread out slightly, and knit the next stitch. Slip 3, knit the next stitch. Repeat this to the end of the row. And knit the last stitch. Now we're going to turn and use B again, going back, and this time what we're going to do, we're going to purl 1, purl that same grey stitch at the beginning there, purl 1 more, slip the next stitch. So now we are going to work purl 3, and the middle one should be the grey stitch from before, and slip the middle yellow stitch. That's how you know whether you're working correctly or not. So when you're purling, you should be purling yellow, grey, yellow, and slipping the yellow, the centre yellow. Yellow, purl, grey, purl, yellow, purl, slip the center yellow, and your yarn is being kept on this side of the work when we're slipping, which is the wrong side of the work. So let's carry on. 1, 2, 3, slip 1, 1, 2, 3, slip 1, slip 1, and then we end with purl 2. Let's see what that looks like. So this is what is going to begin to make our chevrons. You can see it's already starting to take shape. So I'm doing 2 more rows in the grey. I would take these 2 yarns together and just take them over the top of yarn B, and then they will get picked up as we work. All we've got to do now is a knit and a purl row. Make sure when you do that first stitch you give it just a little tug so that these 2 yarns that are pulled up aren't too tight. So we're just going to knit all the way now. I'll meet you at the end. There's the end of our 3rd row in B, a knit row. So now let's do the return row, which is a purl row. So purl all the way across this row, and I'll see you when I get there. There's our 4-row repeat of yarn B worked. So now I'm going to go back to the white because I'm doing them in order, and white is yarn C. As before, along the side, here's all my yarns. So I'm going to take the white and I'm going to take it over the top of the yellow and the grey to carry those up at the side. Knit 1, slip 3. Tighten up that end, not too tight because they've got to be carried up. Knit 1, slip 3. Finish with a knit 1. Now we're going to turn our work and work the slip stitches on the wrong side, just as we did before, starting with purl 1 in the white, and then purl 1 of the greys, slip the next grey, and then purl grey, white, grey, slip the next grey. Purl 1, 2, 3, slip 1. This is such an easy pattern to do, and it's beautiful. It's one of my favourite slip stitch patterns. It also creates a sort of texture, which I'll show you when we've got a bit more worked, and that is because of the slip stitches and taking the strands across the back. But it adds an extra dimension to it, I think. And we finish with purl 2 in yarn C. Turn it round and have a look. Now we can see that our grey chevron is almost complete. We've still got some grey stitches on there, which we'll get rid of now on the next round, which is going to be white again. But before I do that, I will always take the 2 yarns and wrap my yarn that I'm currently using around those 2 to keep carrying the yarns up as we go. Okay, so we've done the slip stitch row, so all that's left to do with the white is 1 row of knit and 1 row of purl. So I'll meet you after I've done both of those. Now we can see our fully formed grey chevron, and the 2 rows that we started off in the yellow form a sort of half chevron, and now we're starting on the white chevron, but now we're going to change colours. We've done 4 rows in the white, so we're now going to go back to the yellow. You can also see that the side is looking pretty good, carrying up our yarns. Knit the first stitch and then slip 3. Whoops, don't pull it too tight. Knit, slip 3. Same set of 4 rows for every colour. You could have more than 3 colours. You could have as many colours as you want, or as few as you want. Probably 2 at least, I would imagine, to see the chevrons. But it's up to you. Use whatever colours you want to use. And knit the last one. There we are. So we've started on our next yellow chevron. Let's turn and work the second row of slip stitches, which is worked on the purl side. And if you remember, what we have to do is purl the first yellow stitch, purl the first of the white stitches, slip the middle white, and then purl 3. 1 white, 1 yellow, 1 white, and slip 1 white. Purl 3, and slip 1 white. It's an easy pattern to see if you've gone wrong slightly. You get into the rhythm of purling 1 in one colour, the middle one in existing colour, 1 in the white again, and then slipping 1. And finishing with purl 2. So I'll go ahead and work rows 3 and 4 in the yellow, which is a knit and a purl row, and then I'll meet you back. And this is coming on really nicely now. So I'm going to repeat those 4 rows in B, 4 rows in C, 4 rows in A for a few times. Now I just want to point out something to you that's happened here. Please don't worry if it does. I forgot to twist my yarns round after the first 2 rows in the yellow. So there's a bit of a big gap there, but it doesn't matter. If you miss it, you miss it. Do it on the next one when you need the next colour. So this is the colour I now need. So I'm going to go over the top and round again to trap those at the back. So now I'm going to get started with the B with knit 1, trapping those floats, and slip 3. Sometimes the edge stitches poke out. You can just get those back out of the way. Okay, and towards the end when you finish, you'll see that these carried up yarns tend to work their way to the back anyway, so it's not a problem. Knit in grey and slip 3 of the yellow. Knit 1, slip 3. And knit the last one. Okay, turn and work the second slip stitch row in the grey. So we've got purl 2, slip 1, purl 3, slip 1, all the way along. Finishing with purl 2, 2 more rows in the grey, and then I'll carry on and do a few more repeats and then meet you back. So I've worked a few more repeats now. I'm just about to come and finish off. Because I did 2 rows in yellow at the beginning, I am going to finish off with 2 rows at the top to give it balance. So I'll do that shortly, but before we do that, I want to show you some really interesting things that happen with this pattern. Not only does it create these beautiful chevrons, if you sort of look sideways down, let's do it from the needle side, can you see these little bumps? Bump, 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 bump. What that is because of the slip stitches across the back, these center chevron stitches get pulled a bit forward. It's such an interesting idea. Oh, there it is. You can see it a little bit better there. So not only do you get chevrons, you get a lovely texture to the pattern. Now the other thing I want to show you is you might be worried about carrying these yarns up. You really don't need to. I know that's not very neat because I wasn't doing it very well, but they stay out of sight even after we've blocked, which I am going to show you as well. So what I'm going to do now is show you the last 2 rows in yellow. I've actually cut off my grey because I don't need that anymore. I'm not going to cut off the white though, because I'm going to do a border at the top similar to the border that I did at the bottom before I block. So I'm going to take my yellow up, ready to use. Now let's work our first 2 rows in yellow here, which is the slip stitch rows. So knit and straighten things out a little bit, slip 3, and then knit and slip 3 again. So purl the first one in yellow and then purl one of the whites, slip a white, purl 3, a white, a yellow and a white, slip, purl 3. And if you're worried about these strands as well, I'll show you how that works out when I block, and I'll show you on my other sample which is already blocked in a minute. It will depend on what type of yarn you've got. This is quite a slippy yarn, so the floats maybe look a little bit worse than in other yarns if you're using natural wool, for instance. And purl the last 2. That's the end of my pattern, because I'm only working 2 rows of yellow at the top to balance up with the 2 rows of yellow at the bottom. So now I'm going to take my white and work a border. But before we do that, let me just show you this other sample that we've already seen, which is worked in natural wool. And you can see it's blocked, so it's lovely and straight. The carrying up of the yarns is there, hidden quite well, and the strands just sort of melt back into the work. There's no big deal with the strands there. So what I'm going to do now is finish the border and block it, and then I will show you the final result. Just showing you my blocking of the swatch. I've pinned it out now using Knit Pro pins, which are a great investment if you haven't got them. Just going to zoom in a bit because I haven't stretched it too far this way. I can still feel that lovely texture that I showed you. I don't want to lose that, so I'm not pulling it too far sideways. Now I'm just spraying with water, and again I'm not going to press it too much to keep the texture, and then we'll leave it to dry and see how it comes out. Here's the lovely sample after blocking. It's still got that gorgeous texture, which I can feel. It looks really nice and neat. The ends, you can't see them being carried up the side there. They're all neatly hidden there, and the strands going across the back are nicely flat. So I hope you've enjoyed this easy way to make chevron patterning, and I hope you try it out, and I'd love to see your results if you do. You can make lots of things with this, so I hope you enjoy it. See you soon.